Anna, how did you find carnivore?
Okay. Quite a number of years ago, I did keto, but not great keto. Um, it was with this net carb stuff and whatever. I never went into the snacks or anything like that, but I was net carbing it, which I'm sure I had a heck of a lot of carbs, but I did lose some weight. And then I veered off of it. Lots of things happened in life that were difficult, including COVID and all this stuff and family issues. I went off. Now, just to know, I'm a food addict, and I've always had trouble with food. I've always been a big girl. Well, I mean, when I was a child, I was not. I was not heavy, actually, as a child. I wasn't skinny, but I was just normal, running around. And I would say probably around 12, 13, that's when I became a heavy girl. And I was exceedingly buxom. So I looked, even at 11, looked older than I was, though I wasn't heavy yet. And food was a big issue, always has been. I just can eat and eat and eat, and I can eat huge amounts. I always loved meat, though, by the way. I always loved meat. Even as a young kid, I'm like, give me a big steak kind of thing. I really was. Though I loved carbs too, but I loved meat. Um, So I would lose weight every once in a while in the regular diet clubs, Weight Watch, whatever, but I never maintained it. It was difficult. It really was. And I have a bad back and I have arthritis and I all these things, young stomach issues, nervousness, all kinds of things. And eating was my drug of choice. And of course, so I lived most of my life really not liking myself, not happy with myself, using that as an excuse for many things in life. Honestly, that's just really it. So when I hit just around 60, maybe a little bit before, my doctor officially notified me that I was diabetic. And that totally freaked me out because I was already taking medications for high blood pressure, for cholesterol, for stomach issues. What else? Could have been something else. I always had trouble sleeping on that. That's been a big issue. So medications for all of those things. And now I was about to do that. And I couldn't control it with food. So I went back to a program that I've been in for many years, in and out, but again, wasn't following. So at about 60, I lost weight. I lost a little over 50 pounds, maybe 55. Who the hell knows? I don't remember exactly. But in that area. And I had already been on the metformin for a bit, and the metformin, the blood sugar medicine, really made me sick. It made me ill. I did not feel well. I could not be far from a bathroom. It was it was that kind of thing. So I'm taking the other thing to counteract. I just was not good. And so when I lost the weight, it was better for my diabetes. And so I halved the medicine and I wasn't sick anymore. So, whatever reason. But I still wasn't great. And the food always called to me. And then maybe if I followed the program, I was in better which I was. I've been whatever in that program for almost 10 years now. I've always been in it, but fastidious about it. And so I've maintained a normal body weight for close to 10 years now. So I think it was 2000, I think it was almost a year. Wait a minute. This October is 2 years that I went on keto and I found Dr. Boz through, I was looking for, I want to buy a wig. So I was watching all these wig programs on YouTube. I love YouTube and how I found you, Dave. And, one lady, she was saying that all her people, all her viewers were saying, how'd you lose weight? How'd you lose weight? What'd you go on? And she talked about Dr. Boz. And that And I've listened to tons, everybody, Dr. Barry, Chafe, all of them. I love them all. Kelly Hogan, the whole deal. And but I followed her. And so from October 2 years ago, so what is that's 23, right? I'm good at math, can you tell? Anyway, no, from October 2023, really being pretty strict, following, she's pretty strict. The only thing though I have not been able to do is the fasting. I can't, I don't know, I haven't been able to do that. So, and I lost more weight and was the thinnest and by March of 24. I've been the thinnest I'd ever been as an adult woman, or even as probably lighter than I was from when I was 13 years old. The lightest in weight. I will say most of my friends said you look sick. I didn't really look sick, but they weren't used to that even thinner, even being less. And that's sort of the history. And I am still very, so I actually at some point turned carnivore because I felt I was sort of ketovore. And then I'm like, listening to Dr. Chafee and all that, I thought, I really don't need these meds. I have arthritis. I have all the, I mean, not meds, meds. Yes, that was one force. I will get into that. All these veggies because they affected my diabetes and I didn't want to be on it. I really wanted to, my goal was to lessen my meds. So March of 2024, I probably shouldn't have. I abruptly stopped my statins. I stopped my metformin. I weaned off the pantoprazole, which was for my stomach. And by the way, you're only supposed to be on that not long, and I was on it for 35 years. 35 years trying to get off that med.
Is that a PPI?
For the stomach, for stomach acid, is that
Yeah, stomach
PPI?
acid, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And I was on various forms. That was the one I wanted. And I used to beg the doctors, and I think I mentioned this in the last time we talked. I begged the doctors, I want to get off of this. Help me get off of this. They told me, but not one doctor told me that I needed to wean off of that. It wasn't until I saw a PA for something for my stomach. She says, Annie, you're supposed to wean off this thing. I said, really? Great. So I did. So it took me 2 to 3 months to wean off of it. I have not been on it. So since basically March of 24, I made a big step to drop these medications. And so then it was even more important to be fastidious about what I was eating. And I brought my A1C, it was in the sixes, but with meds, brought it down to 5.7, 5.8. A lot of doctors don't like 5.8, but it's pretty good for me with no meds. I think it's pretty good. So that's where I lie with my A1C, strictly with food. Food. I don't want to say control, but my food choices, and I'm very happy about that. But I did notice, and so we were coming to like October of 24.
Mm.
Gotta think about it for a second. So we're moving on to October of 24. And I was having more energy and a lot of things, but sleep was a horrible issue. Um, I didn't have a lot of energy. In fact, I used to feel lethargic. And so I thought, a lot of people saying they're on carnivore and this is happening. And a lot happened for me. Believe me, I'm super grateful. But I thought, well, maybe there's more I can do and investigate further what was going on in my body. And I think being on carnivore, ketovore, but carnivore, mostly really 98 point, whatever I said to you, percent is carnivore. Occasionally, I do drink coffee. I love my decaf coffee. Don't take it away from me. That's how I feel. So I thought, maybe I should find out. Is there something going on with my thyroid and my hormones? Maybe. And but I would have never even been able to go there if I hadn't peeled off the other bulticky stuff that was wrong with me. So I was able to get to the heart of even more. So I do have a slight thyroid issue and it affects me strongly. And my hormones were terrible. I had no estrogen at all. And so now that's the process I'm going through. I've gone through 3 functional medicine doctors. All of them have helped me. But I think finally now I'm at a place where I'm starting to sleep better. It's not perfect, but I'm telling you, I've been suffering with this for about 35 years too. Trying everything, and I don't even list all the things to help me sleep. And I would say this past month, that's how close it is. I had 3 or 4 nights that I had 8 hours of sleep. I'm going to tell you that's unheard of. Mostly 5.5 and less. Now, the night before last, I had a rough night. For whatever reason, I slept only 3.5 hours, but that's not common. All I'm saying is something is shifting. And I just think that none of this would be happening if I wasn't carnivore. Absolutely. Because my blood sugars would be all over the place, even with more vegetables. When I tell a doctor, listen, I can't eat as many vegetables you're telling me to eat because my sugar goes up a lot. I struggle now. I mean, I can't get it super low. Occasionally I can. Like when I do what Dr. Boss says, the sardine stuff. And I try to bring it down. Or I do, all the things except for fasting. And maybe that's a thing I need to do. Um, because of my food addiction, it's like, I can't have food. You mean I can't have, you know? So now for the most part, I do 2 meals a day, unless there's a social thing. And my husband says, Anna, are we going out tonight for dinner, right? I already ate my 2 meals. So I may have a salad then. This is where I break it a little. But I will say it reflects, and it's not so much the veggies, it's keeping it the intermittent fasting. I'm trying to be better with that. This is my goal now, to intermittent fast. Now, in my attempt through the great doctors I met, I will say on each one, I learned something new about my body, with the functional medicine. And one of them, who's a thyroid expert, through the process of working with her, I gained weight. I ate uh, more. It was all beef and fat, which makes me a very happy girl. But I had no trouble. You know how people say there's trouble? Oh, they can't get enough protein in them, or they can't get enough. That is not my problem. My problem is too much. I like to eat huge steak or a huge, but I can't be like other carnivores, me, because I'm diabetic. And even though my sugars are in a normal range, they're a little higher than other people. Like today, this morning, I don't know if you care. I tested my blood sugar this morning. It was 119. And then after breakfast, I walked. This is the thing Kelly Hogan has talked about. I now walk, even if it's in the house. I look crazy. I throw my sneakers on. I walk around in circles around my house. And if I walk very soon after, I'm back to where I was in the morning. I am not. Okay. So when I did it, when I tested my sugar after it was 113, it went back down. And then when I came home earlier today after eating my later meal around 2, for me, 2 p.m., I'm better to fast, if you want to call it intermittent fast, the whole afternoon and evening. Doesn't bother me. But in the morning, I have to eat. So I rarely can make it to 10 a.m. So my intermittent fasting is in its time in the morning. When my eating window and the non-eating window. So many people use different terminology, but this is the way I handle it. And when I get my window smaller, and sometimes it's easier, sometimes it's not. My sugars are down lower. Like a few days ago, I was 96 and 89. That doesn't happen a lot, but I can. So I can do more, but my brain, I have to work on the other end of my food addiction, and I have to know it's there. There are a lot of people who I may talk in the community, they don't believe in food addiction, and that's okay. They cannot believe in it. I know what I is. And being carnivore, to not have those choices benefits me. Um,
I
because trust me, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think that's as someone coming from a similar place, I would heartily agree with that. Once you limit the choices, it makes it easier because you can't you can't go, "Oh, I'll just have that," and then that leads to that, and that leads to that, and all these different variety of things. If it's just eat meat or just eat eggs, it's like, okay, well, that makes life much easier.
Right. Yeah. So with through one of the functional medicine doctors, I had a lot of fat. I always ate the fat, part of this whole carnivore thing, no problem. But I never ate butter. I never did it. I had enough fat with everything, and I never took off a bit. I will never take fat off of any meat or any of that stuff. I like it. I was doing more MCT and stuff, but when I went through one of the processes, I started to eat butter, and I don't know if it's that good for me. Not that it's bad for me physically, addict wise. I like it. I like that butter. And I will tell you, there's a cardiologist, quite a few doctors, and this one woman, and I wish I remember her name, and another big doctor. He's oh God, I'm so sorry, I don't have their names. They don't eat too much fat. They're not heavy fat carnivores, and they have reasons. They have discovered that certain people, and I think I may be one. I can't lose this 10, maybe 12 pounds. I can't lose it. And that started this past March when I gained the weight, having all that butter and all that. So I'm not sure what to do with that yet because I would like to be just a few more pounds lighter. Now, I'm going to say I'm in a healthy weight. I do feel pretty good finding things. I'm going to be 70 in a few weeks, and I think I'm doing pretty good. I'm strength training. I walk a lot, and without carnivore, without keto, without any of that, I think I'd be dead in the water. If I hadn't lost the weight, there's no way I'd be what I am right now. I'd be one of those people barely walking because I have a bad back. And now I walk, 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 walk. I do my strength training. I love my muscles. What made me do this strength training, among doctors pushing me to do it, was that I would be blow drying my hair. I couldn't hold my arm up. I couldn't hold my arm up, or it was just too much. I was making, what was I making? I'm trying to think of it. It was a simple thing. It was eggs and something else. I can't remember. And I'm like, I am getting tired. This is ridiculous. And so the strength training with carnivore and all, I will tell you, it's a great thing.
That's awesome that you've come so far. So right now you're on nomads, and just
I am on
you're on the
thyroid,
thyroid.
yeah, but they're not heavy and they're natural. That's the ones I want, the natural ones. And I do take one thing now. I was taking two things. I take one thing for my blood pressure and actually some hormone replacement, which I do through my gynecologist. She does the natural thing. After going through other doctors, I found someone within my uh, doctors so that it's covered on Medicare. It gets to the point I can't afford that anymore. I had to stop all that. And that's fine because it was a huge discovery method. And I will say some really important thing here. Um, I spent a lot of years not eating a lot of fruit, a lot of years, which had nothing to do with carnivore and all. It had to do with my diabetes. Um, I stopped fruit entirely, which is okay. And crazy vegetables. Though I mean, it wasn't until I did the first keto and the others where I really brought back my carbs. But I stopped fruit entirely. And when one of the functional medicine doctors was looking at lab work that I had done, I had almost zero vitamin C. Zero. She said I was just about to be, I'm reading the thing because I always forget the word. She says I was almost close to scurvy. And I did notice things going on in my mouth. It would get sore. She said, you must have vitamin C. So I think for me, and I'm not saying, it was for me, a diabetic thing. And I am taking some supplements and I'm definitely taking my vitamin C. And I will tell you, within a week of doing that, I felt better. So there's a lot of pieces. So I say for me, this carnivore has changed my life. But without it, it would have led me to discover other things maybe about my health or things that I need. We're not cookie cutter. I'm going to tell you, we're not cookie cutter. I'm a woman here who could eat 5 times more than some men. So I'm not one of those women who can't get the food, can't get enough protein in. I have to not. Because if I eat too much protein, that makes a lot of glucose and that ups my insulin. So I'm not the regular carnivore. I can't eat this huge thing if I eat too much at one time. That's why I can't do OMAD. Aside from maybe the brain thing it'll do to me, I'll probably never be able to do OMAD because I wouldn't be able to put that much in without my sugar going crazy, and I don't want to take the meds. But honestly, life is beautiful. As long as I don't let my brain go crazy, my life is beautiful. And it wasn't like that most of my life. Most of my life, I was a sad, heavy woman who struggled. And I will tell you something. I don't get upset about things anymore. And I will say that I think that's the mental part too. That is strong. I'll watch people around me getting upset. I'm like, what the hell? And I don't think it's just age, because there's a wisdom and age piece of it, I'm sure. But I don't think that's just it. I honestly do think that it has to do with what I'm eating. I really do. I'm much calmer. I mean, I'm passionate. So I may just, whatever, say what I want to say, not to hurt anybody, of course not. But I don't respond, except for certain things that are going on in the world right now. Okay, let's not go there. But, I, not the same.
Right. It's almost like you can kind of step back from stuff you used to be really passionate about and go, at the end of the day, how much does this impact my life or something like that? I'm not going to engage.
Yeah, and I couldn't do that. I wasn't good at it. Okay. Not that I never did. I wasn't whackdoodle. But it would upset me more. And so I'm trying to read my notes. So just so I hit the too much fat thing and the vitamin C. So, if people say, I know we listen to everybody, and I do, sometimes you may need a supplement. Don't say you may never. Sometimes you may need to look at your hormones. Who knows? And if you feel better, that's wonderful. But if you think there's more work, listen to yourself. Okay. Because there are a lot of people out there, when they watch how you eat or when they do whatever, they'll tell you you're going to die. I mean, I've heard it all. And there are people who I love. I really wish they would stop eating what they're eating. And as often as they're eating it, they think they need to eat 6 meals a day and and they're not well. But But then they'll say, Anna, what are you doing? Oh my God, this and that. You've kept it off all these years. But I wasn't on carnivore all these years, but it's even further. And I will say my gums are great. That's another thing. My gums are great. No bleeding, none of that. Um, my skin, I think, is pretty good, but I will say, as I'm getting older, you know, I'm getting older. The light is doing a good thing for me. It's filling in the wrinkles. Anyway, but no, if I hadn't done carnivore, I really think, because that step was needed to further, even after losing weight, there was more I had to do because I wasn't good. And I think we always have to be open to it. And things can change again. I know from all the doctors, definitely on YouTube, that I adore, um, our bodies change all the time. And try to listen. That, oh, I know this is how I will eat forever. I hope I can get to maybe fasting occasionally. That's a goal I'd like to do, because I know that there's a lot of good things for it. Maybe as a diabetic I won't ever be. I don't know. Don't have an answer. But it's a goal, and I want to get better with my intermittent fasting. So it's always a tweak. It's always a tweak. It's always something to learn. And the people on the channel say that, the doctors and all that. It's a tweak. We learn, you know. I'm grateful for all the younger ones out there who started early. It's a good thing you started early, because hopefully you don't get, once you become diabetic, it's a struggle because your body's like, don't like you no more, and Makes it
I've
hard.
held this off for as long as possible. You know, you're never gonna stop pumping this garbage into me. I'm done.
That's correct. In fact, I met somebody yesterday, and she was saying, "Oh," I said, it was a store. I was trying to get my clothing fixed. She was going to hem a dress, and her husband wasn't answering the phone at this dry cleaner where she does it. And I said, maybe he took a nap. She's an older lady. She goes, oh, maybe he did. He's an uncontrolled diabetic, and he eats everything. I looked at her and I said, I'm diabetic and I don't take my meds anymore. And I control it fully with food. And she looked at me. She goes, "You kidding me?" I said, "No, I'm not kidding you." And I just wanted to leave it there. I'll see her Friday, and maybe I'll say something to her. But it's hard because there are people. Okay, I'm not going to give up my pasta. I'm not going to give up my bread. I can't give it up ever. And I'm not sure if that was so much for me. Believe me, I love. I'm not a sweet eater though. I don't mind it. I went to an Italian festival that way. You don't think I looked at some of that stuff and go, I could have had some, but I didn't. I carry my carnivore bar with me. I love my carnivore bars. They're expensive, so I don't use them that much. But when I don't have, if I can't take an ice pack thing with me, carnivore is good for me. Now, I love all the other carnivore things too, but they come in cellophane packages and they're like this kind of thing. And due to the fact that I'm an addict, food addict, I can't do them. I love them. I want to be able to do them, but I can't. So carnivore bars is the thing that works for me when I know don't have anything that I can take my ice pack box with me. And so that saves me. Carnivore bar saves me when I travel. I take a number of them and I stick them in my suitcase, knowing when I'm away, I have something I can rely on in an uncomfortable situation.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna ask. So, like, when you're not traveling or you're not going to be out, you're typically doing 2 meals a day. So, like, morning is
It could be eggs, it could be ground meat. I love ground meat. I eat a lot of ground meat. Steaks. I buy ribeyes. I buy chuck eye steaks, chuck eye roasts. Um, yeah, that's what I bacon. And I try to get all or I don't get the most expensive meats. I get the regular meats, but in a good store, I haven't really located that, and I'm kind of a little concerned with the expense of it. But I do get the organic bacons, the good ones. That I love my bacon. I don't do it all the time, but I do love my bacon. I get organic butter. I've been making more eggs lately, and I've been putting that with organic ghee. I'll cook it up, and then I'll eat a couple of tablespoons of butter. That's a thing I think I need to investigate a little less butter because I'm obsessing with it. That's a piece of my personality. I got to accept it. Let's see what happens, because I know when I was with that keto in the beginning and then I went into carnivore, the weight was just coming off of me and I wasn't big. So I think the change could be that maybe I should cut back a tiny bit on my fat. I'm a little lady. I'm 5 foot now. I lost 2 inches. Used to be 5'2". Um, but you know, calories do matter sometimes. I know Kelly Hogan, and I was in her groups for a while. I adore her. There is a certain caloric thing, and because I like to eat, and once I add that extra butter, I could be way over 2,000 calories, and that is not probably not the right thing. So I have to face that one, and I'm telling you all, I have to face.
I feel like in a lot of ways we kind of are coming from the same point. Like, I with butter, I don't eat a whole lot of butter on its own because I'll end up in the bathroom. But um, it's one of those things that, because there's no preparation involved, and because it's basically like you just unwrap it and you can like snack on it,
That's what I do.
it's as dangerous as a keto snack for some people, like yourself, probably, like myself.
Yeah.
Because I can just sit there and go, "Oh, this is great. It's like an ice cream, or it's like a chocolate bar or something."
You're so right. I mean, that is what happens. Sometimes I go to the supermarket, right? And I I have bought butter, let's say, in that thing. I'll whip that out and eat it while I'm driving home for whatever reason. I'm trying not to do that anymore because it's not cool for me. But you're right. I probably should not eat in between the butter. And because it doesn't raise your insulin, really, that fat, I've been using that as an excuse. And I'm the kind of carnivore. And I think because I'm diabetic, it's all piece of it. I could still eat a lot of calories and I could still eat a lot. But I'm going to see, I'm going to test that out. I'll email you, Dave, and let you know.
Yeah. So your husband has been observing you doing this, but he doesn't take part?
Well, he's very slim, very, very slim, and he has some other health issues, which I which did help him when I got him to do a sort of keto thing. But we don't want to worry that he's not eating. So I just let that go. I can't. But he's not adverse to it. He doesn't push me. He knows it's good for me, that kind of thing. So we're all good with that.
Yeah, I
It,
mean,
he is
he's oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm He's aware of his carbs, though. He won't eat as many carbs as he used to, you
Right.
know,
And he's
because
seen the benefits it's had for you, like getting off some of the meds and that kind of thing.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. He has seen that all. So, you can't, honestly, I really don't think I would look even the way I'm looking or care for myself in the way I am, um, because I wasn't feeling good. Even though I had lost the weight, I still wasn't feeling good. So I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful. And I love your channel, Dave.
Thank you. So if
Trying to hide from the sun here. Sorry.
if a friend came to you and said, "Okay, I want to try carnivore. I'm willing to commit to 30 days." What advice or tips would you give them to give them the best chance of having success within that 30 days?
Well, I probably tell me stop eating carbs and sugar stuff. Absolutely stop that. I would tell them to eat at least 3 meals a day, not worry about their eating, and just eat protein and fat. That's what I would tell them. And I would hook them up to a lot of, including your channel, which I did. And I give people, and I still do it, links. Listen to this person, listen to that person, listen to this person. And I would remind them how many meds I'm off of, that how it changed me. And I think that's how I would direct them, because I would say to them that you're going to lose some weight, because that's always, everybody wants to lose some weight. You do this for 30 days and I bet you'll lose at least 5 pounds, 6 pounds, to people, especially women who haven't been able to do it forever. And that is motivating. I think that's what I would do.
Yeah, it's actually that's a good point. Is like so many people go through so much of their life and they're trying all the time to lose those few pounds and just nothing works, right? So if you've got the key, if you're telling them just try this and you will lose the weight, it's pretty enticing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it.
You've
That
just got
would
to get
do it.
past the I'm not giving up my pasta, I'm not giving up my bread.
Oh my God, you have no idea. A lot of people just totally unwilling. And believe me, I was there myself in life. So I do understand it. I don't, I'm trying my best not to judge people I love. Like, please, I love you. Don't do that. And I'm not even listen, I would love to live to an advanced age. I have no control over that. But I do have some control how I'm going to feel every day during this time. And that is what I that is my attempt to just at least feel as good as I can while I'm getting there. Because as I said, I'm going to be 70 very soon, like in 3 weeks. And ain't no spring kitchen chicken no more. It's just basically.
So, if people want to reach out to you, Anna, is there any way they can get in contact?
Yeah, with my email, like last time I met a lovely woman, by the way, who I talk with still to this day from the last time through this. So thank you. Love to talk to anybody. Thank you.
Awesome. So I'll link to your email in the show notes. And thank you so much for coming back on and letting us know how things are going. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate it too. Take care.